So to continue our county final build-up, delighted to be joined in studio now by Ballinacourty goalkeeper and captain Stephen Enright. And Stephen, it's 6 years since you last lifted the Conway Cup. Would you like to scratch that itch on Sunday now?
Most definitely, yeah. I was only thinking there, like, these county finals, they're very hard come by, like, you know. And when you're thinking, I was 18 when we won the first one in 2007, and you're thinking, you know, as a youngster, like, geez, this is grand now, doing this every year. But like, 6 years is a long time now to be waiting. So hopefully now, sure, with a bit of luck, we'll be able to get over the line on Sunday. Yeah,
looking back to that first county title you won in 2007 against Ardmore, what do you recall about that occasion, Stephen?
Sure, I suppose I was probably very young and naive, to be honest with you. Like, I was only just out of sixth year, and I was the youngest on the team. Like, and we were all young, really, to be honest with you. Like, I think we won under 21 double as well that year, and you know, there was a very young team there. I think the majority of the team, actually, maybe as good as many as 10 or 11 were probably under 21 that year. Like, and so you could look at Rathgormack again this year. Like, that's the same thing. Like, they're a very young team. So, you know, inexperience, you could say it could be a pro or a con. Like, you know, an advantage or a disadvantage. Like, that you can be a bit fearless when you're young like that, and you just go give it a great shot. Like, whereas, you know, sometimes when you're a bit more, you know, older or experienced, maybe you think about these things a bit too much. Like, and, you know, it might get you on the day. But sure, there's all kind of individual kind of stuff there. Like, you know, that whether you're prepared for it or not.
You went on to win two more, 11 and 13, both against Stradbally. What do you recall about 2011? It was a bit of a mudbat. 6 points to 5. Should the game have gone ahead at all, Stephen?
Sure. That's the thing. Like, in those circumstances, I think just you have to get those games played. I suppose that's probably the fact that there was a Munster fixture hanging over. I think it was just that game had to be played. Like, and yeah, you're right. It was an absolute tornado that day. And sure, it was the same in 2007. I remember down in Killarney as well against Nemo. There was a tornado down in Fitzgerald Stadium that day as well. Like, so, you know, those, it's like, I remember them saying like that advantage was to Stradbally that day in 2011 because those kind of conditions would suit their kind of brand of football. But I think, you know, we've shown down through the years that we're kind of multi-talented in a way that we can mix it if it needs be, and we can play a bit of football if needs be. Like, you know, that we're not necessarily, maybe some people might say it's just kind of just a nice football team, but I think hopefully now we'll have a bit of a bite about us on Sunday.
Yeah, I know the late Tony Mansfield got very irritated when he heard that the conditions would suit Stradbally. Was that kind of a motivation for you as well, Stephen?
Sure, I suppose like you could use any, you know, you pick up these things, you use anything you can, like in those scenarios to motivation. But sure, like a county final itself isn't motivation enough for us now. Like, you know, like you said, 6 years. It's like a lot of lads are pushing on now at this stage that, you know, you want to win one more. I always think about in the club, like there's this the team that won back in the 70s and early 80s, like they call it the 3 in a row or whatever, like in those lads. And, you know, I suppose the aim for us would be to hopefully, you know, win one more than them, just to say, you know, when we meet them around the places, like, yeah, we've that one extra, like, you know. So it's just those fun things, I suppose, you know, that you can celebrate around the county medals, like, but at the same time, they are definitely to be cherished, like, and they're definitely hard come by.
Looking at this season, Stephen, 2019, how difficult was it to pick up the pieces after losing to Dungarvan in the senior hurling quarter final? Because I'm sure you would have had designs of getting back to another county hurling final this season.
I suppose, like, there is this lot of talk about the dual club and that. I don't think it factors too much. I was saying to Gavin there the last day about I think it's about momentum, really. Like, you know, that it's very hard. You'd see, say, the way the football's set up, like, you're basically playing two seasons. Like, you know, you're preparing for one season at the start around April, and then we didn't play a game for 5 months, and you have to start all over again and prepare for another season. Even if you look back and say, likes of in terms of momentum, like you look at the league, say for football for Waterford, like when we were playing, sometimes we'd get like 2 wins out of 2, then we might have a week or 2 off in the National League, and then we'd lose maybe a couple of more games after that. And that's I think draws back to the fact that a lot has to do with momentum, like when things are going and you're just going week after week and you just get that winning buzz, like, you know. So there's a lot to be said for that too, you know.
Did you think the win against Kilrossenty in the quarter final gave you that momentum, Stephen? Because as you mentioned there, you were 5 months without a football game before that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, most definitely. Like, there was definitely the kind of the rustiness that was there, like, you know, just the lack of games, being able to, you know, being able to play proper competitive games. Like there was that lack of rustiness there, and thankfully we got over the line. Like there was every chance that we wouldn't have, like, and luckily like we pushed on from there. And you know, it's nice to have 2 weeks, but even 1 week or whatever it is, like as players, from the players' point of view, I know maybe management mightn't agree, but I think that, you know, even a week's break sometimes is plenty for fellas just to get their bodies right and play again, you know.
And then in the semi-final against another big battle, the game was really in the balance going into the last 10 minutes. How glad were you to see that penalty from Shane O'Meara come back off the post?
Yeah, very glad. And in fairness, it was a well-struck penalty, and I don't think the lads said that it didn't even hit the ground before it hit the post. Like, so, like, we got lucky there, in fairness. And even the way it just bounced out to the side, like, you know, if it bounced in the ways, it could have easily fallen back to a rebound for an Irish fella just to tap it in, like, you know. So you need that bit of luck, though. You definitely need that bit of luck, and that's what I'm talking about with the momentum as well. Like, you always seem to, I suppose, get that bit of luck when things are going your way, you know, that kind of way, that if things are going your way, they're going your way, and you take advantage of it. What
impression has Peter Queally made on the group over the past 2 seasons, Stephen?
In fairness to Peter, he does bring a great dynamic in that there's no cod in Peter. Like, he's you know, straight to the point, and he'll tell you what's what, like, and give you the home truths. We need home truths, and that's probably what we needed. Like, when you think back in us making probably the same mistakes over and over the last 6 years, like you said, you know, that maybe we were told some things that we didn't want to hear, like, and maybe correct some things that we needed to be corrected, like, and Peter's great for that. Like, he's a great motivator, a great organiser, like, and he's been great for Abbeyside Ballinacourty.
Yeah, was there anything in particular that he had to correct, Stephen, when he came in?
Nothing in particular. It's just that I suppose some guys were in the club scene, like, you know, sometimes you're just happy to be, you know, driving along and getting your place on the team, whereas I suppose some guys were, like, you know, just expecting to be in the starting 15, and then when you had those young lads coming up, and they got the shock then when the young lads were taking their places, like that, you know, Peter was the guy to make those changes that needed to be changed, like, and in fairness to him, he took the chance and seemed to be working out for him so far.
Absolutely. As a goalkeeper, Stephen, how do you get yourself in the zone for a big match like this?
I think that's a very individual thing, to be honest with you. As a goalkeeper, like, I've seen some goalkeepers, and they go through, I suppose, very rigorous warm-ups before games and things like that. I'm probably very much more relaxed, and probably people who know me would know me as being a very kind of relaxed kind of a character. I think about the game a lot more. I talk to some players about visualization, and I think you visualize things that might happen in the game positively, and it works. It kind of gives your brain then a quicker connection, and that you might have a quicker reaction then in the middle of the game. Then if you've thought about those things happening during the game beforehand, like, you know. So, and then in terms of warm up, like, you're just getting your eye in. You're warming up. You're always warm up the kicking leg for the kick outs, like, you know, and just make sure that you're limber and that, like, you know. So I suppose it's as much mentally as it is physically getting ready for these sort of games.
Yeah, and would you pick up anything from other goalkeepers in Gaelic football or other sports?
You pick up a little bit of everything. Like, I suppose I actually Brian Enright, who's no relation, but he transferred from Ger this year, and he's our sub goalie at the moment. And Brian would have played for Tipperary for a couple of years, and he's brought, you know, great enthusiasm with him. Like, he's always mad for throwing out a load of cones and do loads of drills, and I'm happy enough to follow suit. Like, I suppose I wouldn't be very quick on my feet, I suppose, is whatever way you want to put it, but, like, I'm always happy to, you know, try and work on those things, the weaknesses that you might have, or the things that you can work on, like, you know. And he has definitely brought kind of a new exuberance to my training, you know, because as you go, like, in club training, sometimes you mightn't have someone, you know, and you might just end up doing outfield drills which mightn't be as effective for a goalkeeper as, like, you know, in the modern GAA, like, that there's a science approach to everything, like, so, you know, it's probably better off that we do kind of work on our own on a lot of things. Great stuff. Well, Stephen, thanks a million for your time today, and all the best now on Sunday against Rathgormack. Cheers, Moss. Thank you. We love Waterford. We are WLO. Well, to get to Rathgormack for you on Sunday's county final, Gavin Whelan spoke to manager Ger Power earlier this week, and he said that anticipation is building ahead of their first final appearance in 18 years. Yeah, Gavin, it's a big occasion for the club. Yeah, we haven't been in a final since 2001, and there's great excitement around the village and
the bunting and the flags are up and the signs are up, and there's great excitement and everybody's really looking forward to it now.
Absolutely. You were there yourself. You were just telling me before off air there, you played in 2001, your last final appearance at Stradbally Becce on that occasion.
Yeah, that's the last time we were there in 2001. Yeah, I remember I played full back that day myself. Yeah, marked the up and coming Michael Brick Welch, who was only an 18-year-old at the time, but it was obvious from that day that he was going to be he was something special, and he was strong mentally and physically and a good player. So he had very successful career since that, and I suppose he's continuing to have that. I suppose, yeah.
You've had a great journey. I suppose you're to the final. A lot of people at the start of the year maybe questioning maybe your, I suppose getting to quarterfinals and maybe just failing at that hurdle. But this year, obviously, consciously as a group, did you get together and feel that this was kind of a year to maybe try and drive on?
Look, I suppose this year is no different really from many other years. Like, if we've been involved there with the lads for the last 4 years there, and I suppose our motto has been, like, we don't worry too much about the outcome and the results of games. Our focus has been like to try and just improve a little bit each game, each week, each month, each year. Try and improve a little bit. We're trying to close the gap on the big three, I suppose. And I suppose we've been making progress. We feel we've been making progress anyway, We've been closing the gap gradually, we feel, and that we're hoping that again we can show that we close it another little bit on Sunday maybe, and see how we get on. We're going to test how much we've closed the gap again on Sunday,
Absolutely. The semi-final win over Stradbally was huge, and we saw what it meant to you at the final whistle, just getting over the semi-final hoodoo, and they probably would have fancied themselves going into it, but you really kind of, you opened them out, you used the youth and energy in your team. Yeah,
as I said, we prepared well. Like, we've been preparing well for the last number of years, and we were confident going into the Stradbally game that we'd get a performance. And to be honest, I suppose we didn't know if it was going to be good enough. Like, you never really know until you achieve it. Like, Stradbally have been so strong in the past, and people would say they're going to be caught this year, and they're going to be caught that year. But Stradbally, if Stradbally are with you in the last 10 minutes, they know how to close out a game. They know how to get over the line, as I said to you before. And we were very, very happy to get over Stradbally. Like, we have great admiration for the Stradbally lads and what they've achieved over the last number of years. And we really admire what they've done, and the type of characters that they are and the players that they are. So we're very happy to get over the line. We're very happy to be in the final. I'm very happy to be preparing for a final. So again, we're excited and we're looking forward to it very much.
And huge for morale as well. During the panel, you alluded to how young the panel is. I think the majority of them are under 25, and they showed a great level of, I suppose, maturity that night.
Yeah, we've got a very good bunch of committed lads. They want to be successful, and but they realise at the same time what they need to do to become successful. So everybody is very focused on what they need to do, and everybody's focused on what they need to do again next Sunday to get the outcome we want. But we want to win. We want to be county champions, but we know that we know that we don't think about that too much. We know that our focus has to be on what we need to do to achieve that, and we've got plenty of things to work on since the semi-final, plenty of things to improve on, and we have worked on those things, and we feel we have improved on them, and we're just hoping that we've done enough to close the gap again on the likes of Ballinacourty, but again, we won't know that until Sunday. But I said Ballinacourty are a fine team. They've been in 7 finals in the last 12 years. They've won 3 of those, and any time they did win those, they competed well in Munster also, I mean, as opposed to none of our lads have ever played in a final before, so we're the underdogs, and probably rightly so. Like, Ballinacourty they have the experience, and as their manager alluded to there, and after the semi-final, they've got a lot of class in their team, and they've got a lot of quality in their team, and they even have class and quality coming off the bench, So, look, we're at the same time we're looking forward to it. We've prepared well for it, and we're very focused on what we need to do to get the outcome we want.
We love Waterford. We are WLR.
There's a feast of finals and relegation battles across the county this weekend. Tonight in Fairfield, Portlaw and Bricky Rangers will look to retain their senior football status at 7:45, while in Limmy Bryan, Ballinacourty will face Ballinamila in the Western Intermediate relegation showdown for an 8:30 start. On Saturday, Ballygunner will be looking to add to their county title collection in both the minor and intermediate hurling finals at Welsh Park. It's the Gunners against St Cartages in the curtain raiser at 12, and that's followed by the intermediate decider between Ballygunner and Ballysaggart at 2 o'clock. There's also a hurling doubleheader in Fairfield, St Mary's versus Abbeyside in the Western Junior Final at 2, and that's followed by the senior hurling relegation replay between 4 Mile Water and Ballinacourty. On Sunday, the County Senior Football Final takes centre stage at 3:30. Then on Sunday night, the replay of the Western Junior Football Final will take place. Geraldines versus Shamrocks gets underway at 7 o'clock. In ladies' football, Ballinacourty will take on Kilmahel of Clare in the Munster Senior B Final on Saturday in Mallow at 7:30. And lastly, in Camogie, 4 Waterford players are in contention for All-Stars in City West on Saturday night. Lorraine Bray, Anya Ling, Niamh Rockett and Bet Carton are all on the shortlist.